Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you're watching this and whenever you're watching this. My name is Sim with Vengeance, and if you're seeing this is a brand new Dynasty, but with a little bit of a twist. So if you guys are excited, make sure you guys drop that like button to show your support. Come back for more and subscribe, because this Dynasty is going to be some fun, and I'm going to show you guys here exactly what I mean here in the next few seconds here in 3, 2, 1, and welcome to the 90s themed Dynasty in NCAA Football 14. We are starting off here in the ACC back when they only had 8 teams. This was back when 1990 was happening. So there only was a few select conferences that had like more than 8 teams. And a lot of these schools were independent. Now you're looking at the American Conference, you see that there's 3 teams in there that are maybe not in there normally. CS Fullerton, Long Beach State, and Pacific. So Cal State Fullerton, the team that's, the school that's really good at baseball. But a really good, interesting conference, if I do say so myself. One of the more interesting conferences. We are going to try and schedule these teams out. I am running with my school, Kansas State. I happen to go to Kansas State as a dietitian. Believe it or not, if you guys have seen my Twitter account, watched some of my recent content, followed me on my streams, you guys would know that. So here's the Big 12, and I say that with quotes. It's technically the Big 8. So this is back when Nebraska was back in the Big 8, Missouri was in the Big 8, Colorado. Now they're all moved all over the place. The original 5 that you see, the current 5, I should say, Kansas State, Kansas, Iowa State, Oklahoma, and Oklahoma State. Yeah, they're still around. And Texas isn't even in the Big 8. That's crazy, or the Big 12. So we'll get to that one later, though. That's going to be interesting. But we are going to run with Kansas State. That's my school. And on to the Big 10. We have Illinois. We have, like I said, Nebraska's out. So is Rutgers, thank God. And Maryland as well. Penn State is also not in here as well. Little interesting fact. Penn State, we're going to get to them in a bit. But there's only 10 teams in the Big 10. Crazy concept, I know, right? But now they have 14 teams in the modern era. So now we're going to go to the MAC. And that is... not much has changed since then. They may have added a couple teams in here and there, but they had added a few schools, but now they're actually moved to independent. Back in the day, there was a lot of independent schools that were running in this. Technically, this is going to be the WAC conference. So this had like schools like Air Force, BYU, Utah. Now they're in the Pac-12. So just as a little bit of a thing going on here, like you're going to see a constant theme of just weird conferences. We're going to get into that a little bit more here as this Dynasty progresses. Yes, and by the way, Minnesota State is still continuing. I will be going back to that Dynasty. We're going to send it off on its last Raw. We're going to end the season off, just giving you a heads up. But now on to a different conference here. We're going to look at what is now the Pac-10. And like I said, Colorado's not in there. Utah's not in there. So they're back to their original thing. Washington State doesn't look too much different. But they only added a couple schools in the last couple of decades. I wouldn't say they're a boring conference, but definitely a small change. And even some of the bigger changes. The SEC downsides a lot. So they don't have a lot of their schools in there as well. Missouri is one of them. Texas A&M is, for example. They're not in there. We're going to get to that a little bit later on, too, because I've had to, you're going to have to use your imagination on this one, too. You're going to have to think that the Sun Belt is now what is called the Southwest Conference. So schools like Arkansas, Baylor, Houston, Rice, SM, it's pretty much Texas plus Arkansas, all the Texas schools, plus Arkansas, if you want to count it that way. But basically, that's what it has become. This is probably the most interesting conference. That's the best way I could put it. But I feel like this conference is going to have a lot of parity, considering that fact. And I mean, Rice might be sitting at the bottom, but you never know. So I did, like I said, I had to create a bunch of independents and even create a bunch of, like a make-believe conference, if you will. But schools like Akron, West Point, Boston College, Cincinnati, all these regular schools, these schools that normally are in the MAC, like Northern Illinois, Rutgers, normally in the Big Ten, all independents. Yeah, South Carolina, independent. Syracuse, independent. UMass, Tulane, West Virginia, independents. There's a lot of independents going around. And that's going to create a lot of scheduling, not restrictions, but there's going to be a lot of nice, interesting ways the schedule is going to play out for a lot of these schools. And I can't wait to see how they play out, because it opens up so much. In Conference USA, technically, is a bunch of independents as well that I kind of just created a conference, if you will, so bear with me on that, because since 1990, there have been a lot of schools that have been added since then, and basically, this is like a make-believe conference, so kind of, it's like Independence Part 2, because you could only add so many independents in here that it kind of just overloaded the system, overloaded the game a little bit, and said, hey, you can't do that. But like I said, I'm ready with Kansas State, and this is the schedule that we're going to go with. We're going to have a little fun here. We're going to see what the Pacific teams, the CS Fullerton, the Cal State Fullerton, and Long Beach State have to offer. And we're going to see what we can try and do here. Actually, we're going to go with, try and make this a little bit more fun here. We have more out-of-conference games. So our Big 8 schedule looks like this. We have Iowa State and Nebraska, all of them in the later part of the season. We do have Northern Illinois, so we're kind of trying to replicate as close as we can to what the scheduling looked like as well back in the 90s. Obviously, I wanted to have a little bit of fun with this, why I scheduled Pacific, Cal State Fullerton, and Long Beach State. I just wanted to see what their stadiums looked like, and kind of like how the Team Builder creator made these teams. It's going to be really fun to watch, and it's going to be really exciting to play and see how these conferences play out, considering this was so long ago and how much has changed in the college football landscape in the past 30 years. That's kind of crazy if you ask me. But without a doubt, I cannot wait to start this. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And Game 1 will be coming out here very shortly in the next few days. So be on the lookout for that. This is going to be a YouTube exclusive series that I will be posting regularly, along with a lot of the other stuff that I've been trying to stream. So I'm trying to think about my things going forward and seeing. I want to just have fun and make content. And if you want to join the ride, man. That's all I'm here to do, and have fun. So, like I said, drop a like, subscribe if you're new, and until next time, my name is Sin with Vengeance. You guys have been amazing as always, and I will see you guys next time. Oh, P.S. We are using the current rosters, so we're going to get to this as close as we can. 90s football, but in the modern era. Until then, peace out.